Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Wookie, and I'm back for another Fate Grand Order video. And it's time for another grind and talk. That's right, I'm here at the end of the event. We're here at the plus one, yes, the 90++ grind node. And I have stuff to grind out from the event shop still. So for today's video, I'm just gonna go in there, grind with a team, and then I'm also just gonna talk about whatever. That's literally all that these videos are. They're usually decently long, and they're also mostly me talking, so this is your freedom to go ahead and leave. But if you want to check it out, then you can go ahead and stay. And yeah, I guess you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want. It's not really all that important. I prefer that kind of stuff be left for actual helpful videos instead of me just talking. You don't have to worry about it for these, don't worry. And let's begin. So, I guess address the elephant in the room. I didn't do a video doing the story for this event, and the reason is because I have not read Witch on the Holy Night. I have the game installed on my Steam. I bought it like 2 years ago, and for that reason, I skipped the story of the events. And when I had some downtime, which I thought I was gonna have some downtime, before my work decided that they needed some help putting out a fire in one of the departments, so I had to go help them with that. I thought I'd have a little bit more time to actually play the story, but that video will come later once I finish Witch on the Holy Night, which apparently that game's like 20 hours long because it's a visual novel. But anyway, let's begin the video and actually get into the grinding. I started the talking, I didn't get any of the grinding in, so I guess this is the only time. I guess I'll show the team that I'm using for this node. If you want to know, the hint here I think is like, oh yeah, Murder of the Kumano Hot Springs. Basically, if you use one of the three units for this event, which is Sojiro, Alice, or Aoko, you should be able to achieve all of them. This is the team I'm rocking with. It's Aoko with 2 stuff. She has the Black Grail. My dude here, man.jpg, he does not have all his NP copies. If I did, it would make that final fight much easier, but I'm still able to get it done, which you'll see why, I guess, when the team starts. I guess I can always spend the beginning parts of Grind and Talk talking about the team itself. It's a very, like, clunky, turny team, but it works out. It's not a problem. 90++ is not a beauty contest to me. I'm not trying to get like the most beautiful teams up and running. I'm really just trying to get anything up and running. So I'll go here. And thank God that this event has like this many dudes on here. I think this is the smartest way to address grind nodes for new players. Like, how do you have a 90++ one, but then also try and make it accessible to people who are likely joining the game because they saw that this game has a collab stuff? The answer is if you put your loop unit with 6 enemies to make it super easy to loop. That will be enough. That's usually enough. So thanks to this, Alice is doing a fuck ton of damage, and she should have just barely enough. So funny enough, I think mine's like level 8 because I ran out of the specific material. I can't even get it from the shop, I think. So, okay, yes, thank God. I was able to get it just barely. I'll also go here, I guess. I'll hit Buster because why not? Even though he is not long for this world. And then I'll go here. That should be enough to go from here. And then, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. Alice is able to clean up these first 2 nodes pretty easily and effectively when she has the Black Grail on her. It probably can also be done with the Event CE. I just like using the Black Grail because it has more aura to it. Okay, now this is the only part of it that I'm like, okay, so for this part, so thanks to him, the only skill I have of his at level 10 is this middle one, because that should give him enough for 50%. This is also level 1. This skill I think is also level 1 at the moment. And the other thing I have for him is his ability, which is enough to get him to like 20. Yes, so that way he starts with 30% from the CE, 20% from this, and then his middle skill should give him 50%, and then from there we're hunky-dory. He has his NP. Alice just barely doesn't have enough here at the end, but if you go here with that should be enough. If I go here with this, the MP strength will increase, and I think if I do it this way, that should be enough. He throws a rock at her. It was a big rock. And then he does this little fancy move of his. Now, wouldn't it be funny? To be fair, I've only tested this team like once, but I'm pretty sure it worked out the one time I did it. So then Alice should be able to deal enough here. Unless she doesn't, in which case I'll be a very sad panda. But she should be able to deal just enough. Don't disappoint me, Alice. Not like this. There we go. Fantastic. And yeah, that's a team. It's simple. It's clean. It would be much better if I had the last 2 NP copies, but I could start doing it right at 3. So it's not that big a deal. And then look at that wonderful bond. You love to see it. I might get... It's funny because, again, I did mention now we come to the portion in which I just stopped. I might get my dude here, man.jpg, all the way to level 120 while the event is ongoing, where he can get ×2 exp, just because I really do like him as a unit. I'm a big fan of Arash, who is his effect but AoE, and him being a single target version of it I think is sick. It leads to some fun little team build and stuff, because sometimes you really do just need someone to hit really hard and then leave. Though of course if I want to plan to get him there, I also have to think about getting his skills to the top of the level, so I'll have to also think about that as well. Much to think about. But yeah, the event itself was a long one. I'm really so when I do the video where I do the story, it'll likely be from the room notes, which is good, because if I had tried to do it like I usually do, where I play through the event, I would not have finished in time. This event is insanely long, because not only is there like breakpoints in the story for you to go off and like go do grind nodes, it results in this like really long... I forgot to do his thing. It's fine. At least I hope so. At least I hope so. I can't use that, so I'm just gonna go here and see that that's not gonna be an issue. Maybe this will be okay. We'll see. She does have 50% clicks on it. Anyway, I guess I'm glad that I kind of did it that way. So when I actually do talk about, I love this fadeaway. It's so good. When I do the story stuff, I'll feel happy about it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. My brain is also fried. I had a very long day at work today. Anyway, I cannot go into the specifics of it for various reasons, but my god, it was a very long testing day. I had to wake up early. I work nights, but they needed me to come in during the day, so... And I'm going to be going back there today. So even though I'm recording this video late at night, as soon as I'm finished with this video and I get it up and I go there, it's off to bed with me. But other than that, you know, I try and find times to still do some other stuff. I've been doing some other things. It's funny because I said like, oh yeah, Witch on the Holy Night, but I wanted to finish off my other video game things before I did it, and I'm almost there. I was able to finish off my main PC game, which I was playing through Claire Obscura, which is Expedition 33. Which was I think overall a good game. Obviously I'm not going to bore you with like further talk about the game. There's been plenty of discourse already around it. You don't need to hear my 2 cents around it, but my basic idea of it, I guess if I wanted to say something, is that you can tell very much that those people cared a lot about JRPGs, but I also feel like they fell into a lot of the traps of JRPGs as well. And the ending to that game, both of them, it's something else. When I got there, I felt dumbfounded. It maybe left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth when I finished it, but I accepted that it's over. And similar to the themes of the game, I'm willing to move on and say that was an experience of my life. I'm happy to do it. It's done. I still feel like Donkey Kong Bonanza was my favorite game of 2025. with that in there. I couldn't say definitively because I started Clair Obscura late into 2025, so I'm like, I don't know, it could have been potentially. But now that I finished it, now it's I love me Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm a big platformer fan. As much as I am, I'm a big JRPG fan, as you can tell, based off of the very many JRPGs I played. I guess unless this is your first time watching a video of me, which is like what you picked a hell of a one to watch me in, by the way. The one where I'm mostly rambling on about stuff. But I'm a big fan of let me go here. Oh, card chime change, that's cool. Go here and then should we just to be sure? Yes, I did that. Okay. I'm a big platformer fan. Those were my two favorites growing up as a kid. I loved JRPGs and I loved platformers. Absolutely love them. I still love platformers. I enjoy a vast majority of them, both the easy kind and the harder kind, whichever one. As long as you got good gameplay mechanics, and in some cases you can even have some bad ones, and I'll still play the hell out of that platformer. Glover for the N64 shoutouts. Love that game, even though it is not very good. So I finished that, and then I also have been trying to, so the way I kind of break it down now is that I have a gaming on my PC, but then I want to get away from my computer, and the best way I can think of getting away from my computer, most people would think, oh, go outside. No, I go to my couch to play on my Switch 2. And I finally finished Pokemon Leaf Green with my team. That they defeated Dokkan, which is both a reference to Dokkan Battle, the gacha, but then also a reference to an old playthrough of Pokemon Yellow that me and Zed did many years ago for someone who was a fan of both of ours at the time. I hope they still are, even though I'm not sure if they still watch us. I like to think deep down that they still remember us fondly, even though they were a little kid at the time. But you know, maybe now they're going through more things. I like to think maybe, hey, I remember those dudes and they made me laugh. That's what I can only hope for. Based off of, I guess, a lot of people growing up when they say like, oh yeah, this one YouTuber that got me through my early days. And they provided me with entertainment. If you can do that for someone, to provide them for entertainment for whatever reason, whether you're big or you're small, I think that's a wonderful thing that you can do for this world. I forgot to do it for you. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I keep forgetting to use your third skill. It's okay. You don't really need it. It's really just like a bonus of it. But anyway, yes, so Dokkan was named after that. And then the team I used to beat it was Kabutops, Charizard, Gloom, which was my brother's Gloom. We traded, and I got it from there. Otherwise, the actual grass type for my type is Bulbasaur. Not Bulbasaur, it's, thank you, Bellsprout. My mind is, like, losing me today. Bellsprout. So yeah, those are the three. And then Dragonite. And then Raichu, and then I had one other one that I'm currently blanking on for the time being. I don't know why. It was Gengar. There you go. Another one that I traded thanks to my brother. Again, brain is all mushy peas today. And that was a fun little jaunt down it. I've beaten that game multiple times at this point in my life. I could say for various ports of my life, I've beaten Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, Fire Red, all the various ones. It's always nice to just kind of go back and do it. And I did it there. And I probably still have to go in there. Not probably, I will go back in and collect the Pokemon I'm missing and eventually get the full Pokedex, but that can wait. I feel like now I can move on. And then I was gonna start playing through some of the other Switch games that I have on there. One of them that I've been playing through is the new Paranormal Site, which I use that one as my reading in my bed as I try and relax for the end of the day. And I hope to have that one done in a couple days, maybe, and then I can move on and make Witch on the Holy Night my version of that for that game. But then the other thing was Pokemon It's not called Pokemon Conquest. What is the name of the new Pokemon? Not Coliseum. Pokemon Champions, thank you. Which I played a bit today, which I really liked it. But I'm also not a very competitive player. I did see a lot of the competitive people freak the fuck out, but I feel like that's understandable because that's what you do. Yes, so from what they've said, I cannot refute them on that. I think that's all valid that they make if you care about those games competitively in any kind of capacity. The thing is that over the years, ever since I was like 7, I guess, when I first played Fire Red and Pokemon Blue, I just have never cared about Pokemon competitively. I think the only time I cared about it was when it was Scarlet and Violet, and only because I was told Clodsire was semi-meta relevant. I'm not saying top tier, I'm just saying you could use him in it. And for my boy Clodsire, I would use him. I mean, for that same reason, I guess I should also play Pokemon Go, because Shadow Quagsire is apparently a full force of nature in Pokemon Go. I had no idea. I think that's awesome, though. See, but it used to be when I was in my younger days that I would have an actual, like, abrasion, I guess, to the idea of, like, competitive Pokemon. Like, oh, why would you play it? Where now I feel like I have more of an understanding and appreciation of, like, no, I think it's good that there is a scene for this that makes sense. That makes sense to me. I see no issue with it at all. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill with Alice on this one because I picked the Buster instead of the quick card, but we'll see. I may have also forgotten to activate the other skill. We'll see. Because that feels like that's slightly less damage than I should be doing. So give me a sec, because I might need to pause and make a double check on this one. Alright, show my true form. Wait, okay. At the end, are you goated? You're goated with the sauce, my bad. My bad, Alice. Kanoji Alice. Kuanji Alice. Similar to that. I'll figure it out when I play the game, and I'll hear the pronunciation of it and stuff like that. So yeah, I was playing it, and I was messing around with it, and I liked it, because in the sense, I was like, this is just straight up some nice Pokemon battling. I like this. And then I lost my win streak because I listened to my brother, and that was unfortunate because he had information that I trusted him with, and he got it mixed up. But that's okay because I also didn't know, and I just assumed that he was correct on that one. The mega's like abilities, I guess, aren't super well known. I guess they're known now because they got data mine and stuff like that, so you know, it's a perfectly understandable mistake that I don't blame him for. I would have eventually lost it to a Japanese person because I also play late at night, so the only people I was really going up against were Japanese people and Chinese people. Those were the two. I don't know if there were any other people who play that game in any other language, but as far as I'm aware of, the Japanese and the Chinese are absolutely in love with the new Pokemon game. And I'm like, here we go. As they usually are. So I'll play a little bit more. I still think that it seems pretty well built for a casual person to be like, yeah, sure, I'll use these Pokemon. I'll see how far it can really take me. I don't think I'll be able to go past maybe Great Ball tier or something like that, but we'll see. I think on Pokemon Scarlet Violet, how far did I make it there? Maybe it was close to Great Ball? I don't know. Again, the main problem with me always when it comes to competitive games is that eventually I just kind of like taper off. It's the opposite. The only competitive games that I can ever like climb high to are typically card games. Those are the ones that usually are able to hold my attention long enough to have me kind of go up there and stuff. Yeah, because even for fighting games, like, I don't really do all that much. The closest I ever got, the only fighting game I think I ever would put massive amounts of time on, and I say this knowing that Street Fighter 6 is likely one of the newest of the newer fighting games that I put a lot of time and effort into, would be a Mortal Kombat game. Just because there's a certain itch in Mortal Kombat games that I can't get in any other fighting game, that I'm like, yeah, I feel the need for this one. It's a need that is not very, like, strong. It's not something that is felt strongly by a lot of people. If you have the itch, you know the itch. You are aware of the itch, and you are aware of it. But yeah. So yeah, I beat that. I did that. Then so I wasn't supposed to play Pokemon Champions. What I was originally going to do was finally get around to beating Bayonetta 3 now that it's on the Switch 2 and it will run at a stable frame rate. I plan to do that next. And that one should also be relatively pretty quick. And then from there, I don't know, I'll find another Switch game to probably go in there. And as far as PC games are concerned, the main one I want to do is Witch on the Holy Night. If I'm playing on PC, I want to be playing that game. And then if I'm sitting down relaxing in bed, currently it's the new Paranormal Site, and then after that, maybe it'll be Witch on the Holy Night. The new Paranormal Site is also pretty good so far. There's a lot less horror in it than there was in the first game. What is the full title of the new Paranormal Site? If you don't know, it's like a visual novel game that is made by Square Enix that is really good. Big fan of it. I wish they spent more money on that instead of pissing it away, which they really like to do. The first one is called Paranormal Site: The Seven Mysteries of Hojo, something like that. I played it for 13 Nights of Halloween very briefly. I did the intro of it. It was Paranormal Site: The Mermaid's Curse. It was in this one, and I've been slowly building up. It's a slow build up as I try and like get it all situated, but I think I have a pretty good basic firm about what's going on, and then I'll go from there. I think it's a really cool series. If you are a fan of visual novel stuff, you should check it out. So hopefully I'll have that beat. And then after that, I don't know, the main one to put on the big TV, I'll have to figure it out. After Bayonetta 3, that is. Yeah, that's basically my things for gaming for right now. Also try and get as much as I can of my gotchas and stuff like that. Thank you for the global dev teams of Uma Musume for realizing that we needed to nerf the Sweet Broken event because we're not in the same conditions of Japan, so there was never any fucking way we were ever gonna reach that goal. Not without every single one of us locking in over Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is not something anyone wanted to fucking do. Not after a long cup. It could have been maybe put out a little bit better, but I'm glad that they recognized it fairly quickly before we hit the deadline. At least they made it like 24 hours before we hit the deadline or so. I'll take it. For Go, I still have to grind a lot of the story stuff from it, which I'll probably get to that as soon as I finish grinding here. Also get PNG Man's final 2 NP copies as well. And read that story when I finally finish Witch on the Holy Night. And then, thankfully for that, I do have to work on some video stuff as well. I need to watch Gintama so I can do my Shonen Archive stuff with it. Because, one, it's been a long time since I did Shonen Archive. And two, I also love doing Shonen Archive. It's one of my favorite series to do out there. That's why I can never, that's why I'm a terrible YouTuber. Because the smart YouTubing thing to do is you try and have your channel be focused on one specific thing. If you're too out there, back in so this is something I've talked about a lot of the time. Back in my day, the way YouTube worked is that you watch the videos because you like the person attached to them talking. And that's still how I kind of approach a lot of YouTube videos. The thing is that YouTube has changed since then, and now their stupid algorithm doesn't really push you if you try and do too many things on a channel. That's why if you ever wonder, man, why does my favorite such and such dude only do this now? I loved it when they used to do that. It's because the numbers aren't there for them to justify going in and branching out to doing other stuff. But I've always said that the Fate Grand Order stuff does good, and nowadays it does amazing for me, which is great. I loved it, that it helps grow the channel and stuff like that. But the way I see it is that if Fate Grand Order is growing the channel, I should go out there and try and do other things that it really speaks to me, and I do it because I love doing it. And now you could also say that's probably a little bit because I have that artist side of me that I did go to art school, even if the school itself is questionable. I still did go. Okay, let me go here because I just noticed Alice's cards aren't the greatest. But I do have that artist feeling in me of like I want to create stuff that speaks to me and brings me joy in making it, and hopefully brings joy to others when you make it as well. And I feel like if you kind of act in that kind of way, not act in that way, but if you go that way, it's a great way to not make any money, which is why when I left art school, I did not make any money for many years. For many years until I eventually got a job somewhere completely unrelated to the art thing I do, but I still found ways to continue doing my art things. I still use a lot of the things I learned from there. It may have been a shady school that I went to, but the friends I made there, who I still talk to, which is a part of the Mimi Force, though I think probably a good chunk of the people who only watch my FGO videos have no idea who those dudes are, but they are good friends of mine that go back to college. I met them there, and then a lot of the things I learned about how like editing works and stuff like that, timing of animation stuff, I still use to this day, and it helps me with the channel and stuff like that. So you know, I think it's all worth it at the end of the day. Plus, eventually those student loans were dropped because they're like, this place is mega fucking illegal, so you don't have to pay it back anymore. And I said, it's fucking rad. We all felt the same when we got the news. We were like, that's sick. We love it. Everyone was basically free of their financial burdens, and it was awesome. Anyway, as we continue on in the grinding, that's basically it on the game side. I have been watching some movies. Let me see. The last movie I think I updated people on. Now we're on the part of where I'm like, time to pull up Wookie's Letterboxd. This is my favorite part of the grind and talk. When I look at my Letterboxd and I talk about the films I most recently watched. Let me see. Go to my profile. Go to me. I guess my home is where I would see it. No, I guess not. I still don't fully know how this site really works. I guess the diary is where I would go. There we go. Let me see. The last movie I watched since Hard Boil was, of course, the 1933 classic King Kong, which is as good today as it was when it first came out. I love that movie. The only part that's problematic is all the stuff related to certain characters in terms of maybe they weren't the most racially sensitive for the time being, but everything else about the effects, the story, the everything built around it, I still absolutely love. It's one of my faves. I love me King Kong. I think it's amazing. If you have not seen the original 1933 King Kong, you need to check it out. It's great. And enjoy it and love it. Let me see. Some other stuff that I saw. I already talked about Hard Boil in that summon video I did. Hard Boil is a really fucking kick-ass movie. Check it all the time. Check it in if you haven't. I did see this other movie called The Others with Nicole Kidman. The lady who tells you that heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Really good movie. I enjoyed it a decent bit there. A lot of it is her kind of running around opening doors, which I appreciated and I liked. You know, now I have to wait to see. I've used up all the Ruler Scotty friends, and now they're like, okay, well, now you're on cooldown. Stop using Ruler Scotty, they say to me. And I say, no, keep using her. Here we go. A movie called I Graduated But. So obviously I'm still studying up on my Japanese and trying to get better at it and like learn as much as I can. And some of the things I've started doing is like watching some more Japanese movies to get kind of more affiliated with the language, because I learn a lot of decent like phrases and knows like and like how sentence structure works. Like I understand ga, ka, no, ano, stuff like that, like particles and things like that, but I need to still hear it being actually used in a sentence, because one of the toughest things when you're learning something is actually the act of, so when you stop, if you only learn through books and stuff like that and like teachings of that way, your language comes out very stilted because you're learning it in a very stilted way, but that's not actually how we use language. Like a lot of the English language that I use isn't, I know that there's a right way of doing it, but there's a difference in the cadence in which someone talks, right? So sometimes some sentences make no sense. Like sometimes I catch myself doing this all the time, which has annoyed the hell out of me because I edited out my videos because I'm annoyed as to why I'm doing it, because I know that it's wrong. But the thing I do all the time is that I do triple negatives. And so what I do is that I won't just make a statement. I'll make a statement like, never, always. The thing people always hate is never being able to not do this. And that's just not... I know it's a fucked up sentence, but I still talk like that from time to time. But that's a fucked up way of saying things based off of knowing the language and stuff like that. So when you only learn through textbooks and stuff like that, your language can come off as a little bit weirdly stilted because it's like very formal and stuff like that. So I figure, and the funny thing is even when I read it there, because it's like, obviously, well, why don't you read more, watch more anime and stuff like that. Even in this game I hear some Japanese, but even the Japanese that they use in games is not the same that they use in talking real life. Like if you try to talk like how you learned Japanese people talked in video games, you would sound probably a little bit over dramatic, and they'd be like, that's really weird that he's talking like that. I guess it would be similar to someone learning English from watching Sylvester Stallone movies and nothing but. Like they would only know really hard tough guy lines and they would talk like that. Point is, all of this to say is that I try and watch more Japanese things to better familiarize myself. So I watched a 1929 not fully found movie from Japan called I Graduated, but ... which is about, there's only 10 minutes of surviving footage, and this is the part where you're like, well, why did you do that? It's a silent movie. And it's a silent movie to the degree where there's not even any sound in it. So there's no like jaunty, like usually in a lot of silent movies when you watch them, they have a score to them. These don't have any score to them. They're just straight up like silence, occasionally broken up by Japanese words on the screen. So probably wasn't the best starting example of it, but you know what? You make do sometimes. And the movie itself was interesting. It was about someone who, at least the starting setup from what I understand it about anyway, was about someone who had graduated but they were still finding a hard time looking for a job after graduating, which I thought was very interesting in the sense that even in 1929 in Japan, that's still a relatable experience to someone. Of like, no, I just got out of college and I graduated, so that means that I should, this is the part where they promised me that life gets easier, a job falls in your lap and you start building up your 401k or whatever the fuck, and it turns out it's not that easy. It's never that easy. It's only actually gotten harder over the years. So it was very cool to see a movie like that and be like, oh, that's very interesting. Another one I watched was Ben-Hur, which is from the 1959 version. If you have not watched Ben-Hur, did you know that that movie's about Jesus? I didn't. And so when I was watching it and Jesus popped up, I was like, is that fucking Jesus? They don't show his face. They only show like him in like aura shots. That entire movie is like Jesus never being shown and having nothing but like aura for the entire time he's there, and then saving the day through nothing but pure like aura, like hype moments and aura. That's all what Jesus does in Ben-Hur. He's in that movie for maybe a combined total of 5 minutes if you count all of like the 4-hour runtime of the movie, but in those 5 minutes he does nothing but aura farm for the entirety of it. Never says a damn word. You can tell it's him because you can see the back of his head and you're like, that's Jesus's head. I know that head. I know that hair. He's also tall as fuck. There's a part where like he stands up to a Roman soldier and he gets him to stop whipping Ben-Hur by simply just like looking at him. And he's like, oh man, the aura is too strong. I can't do it. That's how I assumed in my head with what he was saying. Great movie. The ending of it I didn't like. It was like a 5-star movie until that ending, and that ending I feel like kind of cut out a lot of the a lot of the themes that they had going on. I don't know if it was just because the movie at the time was like, okay, you don't understand, back then we had to just kind of end all movies on a happy ending, but I really feel like that movie deserved a more bittersweet ending than it got, and instead they had like a happy, like, thank you God ending, which is fine. Sometimes I'm a fan of those type of movies, but in this case I feel like the specific like nature of faith could have been explored a little bit better. But to be fair, it's 1959. Like, at the time they were very much like super gung-ho on a lot of religious themes, and maybe they didn't actually have the ability to explore it fully. But either way, the other one, in terms of exploring things fully religious, I know that because it was Night of the Hunter. This movie I really like. I can't even really describe it. It's another 1955 movie. If you got the time, watch Night of the Hunter. That movie holds the fuck up. Another one I watched was Targets, which featured the fantastic actingness of Boris Karloff. Great movie. Scary in how much it actually still holds up in a lot of ways. That's another one I feel like is probably best. That it's from 1968. It's one of not Bela Lugosi, sorry, Karloff's, one of his last movies. At least I consider it his last one, in that it's the best one of the last movies he did, so I don't want to acknowledge the other ones that came afterwards. Check that out is my main thing. And yeah, I think we get back to, I get the Kill List, Ring. I think I ended up watching Ring and Ringu, which I believe, technically speaking, one of them is just called Ring and then the other one is called The Ring, with the English version being The Ring and then Ring just being the Japanese title. And yeah, I like the Japanese version, and the English version is an almost as good version, I would say. There is a couple of things that are not 100% copacetic, and that's because they change it from what it was in the Japanese version, and those specific changes make it so that the movie makes less sense, because you're supposed to understand that there's something up with this boy that's different from the others, and the answer is supposed to be he has psychic powers of some kind, but they kind of remove that from the American version, so he doesn't really have any of that, so it ends up feeling a little bit weird. And yeah, I think that basically covers it up. There's still a bunch of movies I want to see in the theaters that I haven't gotten the chance to go see around, just too busy. And anyway, I think that's a good enough place to stop the grind and talk. Let's see how my grinding did by the end of it. I have plenty of days for it, so I don't really need to be like this crazy grinding it, to be honest with you, but it is nice to just kind of get it out of the way, to be honest with you. I also do need to clean up these missions at some point. I'll get to that eventually, but yeah, let me pick up these crystallized lore. Okay, bird. Thank you. Are you okay, bird? You are loud as fuck. Robin is insane. I have not heard this bird yell in my ear until I started clicking. Not until this exact moment where it screamed it into my ear, and I was like, "Okay, bird, can you calm down?" I've had a.
Having Robin talk to me makes me glad Robin Hood exists, so that bird.
You know what? You make a very good point there.
One good thing Robin has done for me to fail at everything making sure that cocky Robin does not know.
Yeah, I can see why someone could have probably killed Cock Robin at this point. Yeah, I understand why they killed him. If he's out there screaming in their ear like that. Like, I need you to calm down, sir. I'm picking up some skills and fantasies. And then go for this area at the end. Okay. Then we go. I think that's good for right now. That's the end of the grind and talk, everyone. I hope if you made it all the way here, thank you very much. Thanks for sitting down and talking for a bit. I'll try and get some other videos released. They probably won't all be Fate Grand Order related, if I'll be honest with you. I'll just do one of those relaxing, like, here you go. For your 10 people out there who want to watch me play a video game, here's me playing a video game. and I'll get back to doing the actual serious videos when they're ready to like start announcing some stuff, like when we get closer to the release of the upcoming summer events. Hey, Fate Extra is also something coming up, so if they want to throw me for a loop, they can announce the Fate Strange Fake thing is going to be coming to us as well, but we're running out of days for that to be a possibility. Anyway, that's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, peace out and bye bye. Say goodbye, boy.
Bye.
Bye.